Yo ho ho. So welcome to part 3 of the Dante. I don't even remember what I was calling this nonsense. But in this video, we're going to talk about the audio interfaces for that I have in my Dante system. I have two audio interfaces. Yes, you can have multiple audio interfaces on a Dante network, which is one of the dope things about using Dante. So even in a tiny studio like mine, I have a control room and a drum room and other rooms and stuff. So if you want to connect those other rooms, like what do? Well, like your sound card and your interface is like with your computer in the control room, and the standard, up until now has been to, put these giant plates on the walls and get your soldering gear out and get busy for like 2,700 hours soldering. Um, I don't really want to do that, especially since I heard about this thing about Dante. And yo, dude, you can just like run all that through a network wire. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds like absolutely for me. And turns out, um, it turned out to be about, like a really an improvement in cost. Like cost went down kind of over all of the analog gear, especially if you were to consider time, which I didn't. But the cost really went down overall for the installation. So because was just two devices to buy as opposed to like so much stuff. Anyways. So I have the two interfaces. Let's see them. We've got the Focusrite Red 4 Pre. It's very exciting. We should look at them. Let's see them. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. The Red 4 Pre is just one of Focusrite's interfaces that have Dante interface built in as part of the deal. It's also a Thunderbolt interface, and I've never used it that way, but I'm sure it's fantastic. And it is, of course, managed like most things nowadays through a little app. It's very nice and easy. And so this guy actually has four mic preamps on the back, XLR preamps on the back, 2/4 inch on the front. So it's got all the handy stuff going on. It's got four of the like Focusrite Red preamps, which are really nice. So that's all dope. And it's also got the DB25s on the back, which is totally nice as hell too, which I utilize. So that's one interface. The other interface is the PreSonus Studio Live RML32AI. I chose this one to sit out in the main room with the drums and the bands and all that stuff because it's got 32 microphone inputs. Those are all nice little guys. Burr Brown's up in there, and so that's super dope. And it also has DB25 in out on the back. So if we look back there, the one cable connecting it to the network, easy peasy, or connecting it to the world. DB25 then feeds the patch bay here actually for feeding back mixes. You can do it. I can do a lot of different mixes from this system. And then the headphone amp will sit up there where the rolls currently is. Everyone's got little rolls, man, don't they? And so this guy is controlled remotely if you wanted to from the studio, also via phone. This phone has a little app on it where every person in the studio, like that's say in a band playing, they can have this little app, and it gives them volume control over them, over their mix. They can have their own personalized mix. Everybody can in the room. Super easy. This combined with Dante, and then also each person gets to be able to like turn up more me, I think is what they call it. It's fancy. But anyways, the RML, this is universal control for that guy. And it's totally dope because this thing is a mixer. It's totally a mixer. And so, like latency is always a question, with people and networks and recording and stuff. And so, as I've said in my other videos in this series, my real world latency hovers around 3 milliseconds in the box, like monitoring through stuff, which is great for using things like the Slate VMS, virtual mic system. But still, you're always going to have people that, are like, whether they, know it or perceive it or not for real, or, and some drummers certainly do for real. They're like, dude, I need zero latency to do my tracks, period. Like, and so no problem. Most sound interfaces are capable of letting you monitor, off the card. And these are too. And the cool thing, like you could, if you do that in the Focusrite, you're just like folding back a dry signal, basically. If someone's singing, like whatever, it's going to be a dry signal. Now with the PreSonus, since it's a stage box like mixer, like full-on mixer, the PreSonus, you get the PreSonus Fat Channel. So you get gate, you get compressor. I'm like making it all out of focus. Compressor, EQ, limit on every channel. Then you also get effects like reverb and delay, etc. And they're all like they're pretty nice. Good suite of reverbs happening, multiple effects going on. So, and all that can go back to the people that are at the band. All that can go back to the band for zero latency monitoring. That sounds great. Or a vocalist or whoever gets to, do a no latency free recording scene with, nice reverbs or delays or whatever they want to make it sound nice when they're tracking. And you can, send that signal through Dante before, or after, but before all of that processing happens, and get that clean signal into your rig. And so those two interfaces, that's kind of why I chose that. I know that this is one of Focusrite's flagship interfaces, so it's running clock on my system, and the rest is slave to it. And but those are the only two audio devices that I have running on my system. If I were to plug another one into the system via USB or something like that, like a little 2i2 or who knows what, an M-Box or something, you can also utilize those inputs and outputs on a Dante network. The whole thing is very, very easy and cool. It manages your devices great. I think I mentioned either here or in another video, you can, like one of the benefits and cool, things is when shit goes wrong, something crashes, maybe a device goes down during a session or something like that. No problem. You got another one. And everything keeps running. Dante's going to manage that stuff for you. The bad card goes down, the good card takes over, or bad device goes down, the good device takes over. And nobody knows the difference, and you keep on moving. Theoretically, that same thing applies to computers. You have a computer crap on the network. The network remembers all of its stuff and its settings, and it stays up and it keeps running. You just take a laptop, plug it in, pull up a session, and you just take over, keep going. No big deal. It's not at all the world where, like things like that, just like, whoa, crash the session, there goes 10 minutes. You're not making people wait through like all that kind of nonsense with a Dante network. You're just not. So it's fantastic. Trying to think of some other, anything else you might want to know about the sound interface portion of this nonsense. We should probably take a quick peek at how it looks in Digital Performer. This is a very simple project. It's my Ninja Turtles thing. Check episode 4 in the current season, the reboot for like trying to use my mouse when I totally can't. So you'll see up here you've got all of these. Please make that up. Oh, you got all these guys. 32 inputs. That's your Dante guys. It doesn't like me to do that with the light. I think I'm going to have to use my mouse. Oh, there we go. Those are your inputs. There, you bastard. Do right. First 16 are RML. Second 16 are the Focusrite. And so your Sound interfaces, you know, that's how they should. You're not going to see Focusrite up in your DAW or Persona something. You're going to see Dante Virtual Sound Card, because the Dante Virtual Sound Card, that's what's managing your actual interfaces. Over here, the RML, the iMac, and the Focusrite. And so that's what it looks like in your thing. That's what it looks like in practice. And it really is super easy to get a hang of and super easy to run, super stable. So audio devices, that's the ones that are on this simple Dante network. Dante! I'll ever do that. What is this like? Dude, West Side.